The second those words left her lips, the proclamation that his worth was somehow greater than mine, the world didn't shatter. I didn't fly into a rage, no tears welled up, not so much as a muscle flinched. I just stood there, frozen, staring at the woman who'd once whispered her deepest dreams into the crook of my neck under the safety of darkness. And now, here she was, championing a man whose slick grins always seemed to hang in the air a bit too long whenever my back was turned. That was the line in the sand she drew when she finally hissed, "You either apologize to him, or we're through." It was strange, really. A profound quiet washed over me, like a hurricane had just blinked out of existence. Man, 6 years we'd been a we, 3 of those married. Our lives had been this intricate tapestry woven together. A wild, chaotic pattern for sure, but there was always a balance to it, a rhythm that made sense. Her laugh used to be the most honest sound in the world. And God, I trusted it. And then he waltzed in, her so-called best friend. You know the type, the kind of wolf in sheep's clothing whose hugs felt like an overstayed welcome and whose eyes practically made love to her lips while she talked. At first, I bit my tongue. Yeah, I wasn't about to become that guy, the cliché, jealous husband. But hey, you can smell disrespect a mile away, and this dude positively reeked of blatantly crossed lines. It wasn't one big, dramatic betrayal, but a slow, agonizing bleed-out from 1,000 tiny cuts. The laptop snapping shut whenever I walked into the room, the late-night messages pinging with declarations of, "You'll always be my sanctuary." The phone's passcode suddenly changing for no good reason. Those matching bracelets I'd been naive enough to dismiss. The hotel receipt she claimed was just a clerical error, and I never even called her on it. Instead, I just collected each sting. I bottled up all the hurt, storing it away like some kind of poison that was easier to swallow once you gave it a name. The dam finally broke during a nasty confrontation. I called him out, and he just smirked at me, his face a mask of smug victory. She's already made her choice, pal. And damn it, she had, without a flicker of doubt. She stood right there beside him, cementing her allegiance. So, I walked. I left the house, dropped the keys on the counter, and just abandoned the entire life I had poured every ounce of my soul into building. My phone went dark. For 4 straight days, silence was my only weapon, and I wielded it with surgical precision. She blew up my phone with calls, frantic texts, even showed up to weep on my apartment doorstep. Nothing. I gave her absolutely nothing back. See, silence has a way of getting under your skin. It makes people antsy, and when they get desperate, they get sloppy. It was time to do a little digging. An old buddy of mine over at her bank owed me a favor. A quick look revealed she'd opened a secret account 6 months prior, already siphoning back a cool $100, $800. She was building herself an escape hatch, completely oblivious that I'd be the one to pull the trigger and walk away first. I played the long game, just sitting back and watching as she spun her web of lies to our mutual friends, painting me as the unhinged, paranoid lunatic. I let them believe her version of the story. Honestly, their bad judgment became my cover. This guy, Jason, a real estate agent by trade and a viper by nature. And what do you know? It turns out the world is a ridiculously small place. Our paths had crossed years ago when I was buying a property. He'd tried to pull a fast one, falsifying documents in a scheme that cost me a fortune. I reported him, and he got his license yanked. He never had a clue it was me who brought the hammer down. And now, this same parasite was in my home, eating my food, and putting his hands on my wife. Oh, this stopped being about infidelity a long time ago. This was about settling an old, unpaid debt. First things first, I needed ammunition. Getting into her secret bank account was a complete joke. Her password? Melody04. As predictable and uninspired as ever. I took screenshots of every single transaction, saved their entire message history, and compiled the whole sordid affair into a neat little digital folder I ironically named Loyalty. With that squared away, I set my sights on Jason. A quick call to a legal contact confirmed my hunch. He was up to his old tricks, skirting the edges of fraud on a couple of his latest deals. I dropped an anonymous dime to the state board, then dangled a carrot, posing as a hot new buyer. I lured him into sending me doctored listings, recording every incriminating syllable he uttered. Those crystal-clear recordings went straight into the inboxes of his latest victims. Right on cue, by day 4, she was completely unraveling. A sobbing mess on my doorstep. I finally opened the door. I let her play out her whole tearful, Oscar-worthy "I'm so sorry" monologue. I even played along, holding her hand and assuring her it was all water under the bridge. Then I handed her the file. Watching the blood drain from her face as she clicked through the damning evidence, the screenshots, the bank transfers, their nauseating messages, well, that was a sight to behold. I made the terms simple. "I won't burn your life to the ground," I said calmly. "You just need to walk away. No alimony, no demands, no drama. Just disappear." Her absolute silence was a louder confession than any words could ever be. She left without another sound. The final act was the showdown. Jason called, of course, spitting fire and hurling threats down the line. "Sure," I said. "Let's meet." A public diner. Neutral ground. He swaggered in, oozing a pathetic, puffed-up confidence. Me? I came armed with nothing but my own composure. I let him finish his little tirade, and then slid a tiny flash drive across the sticky tabletop. "That," I said, "has proof of 12 different victims, fraudulent deals, and forged signatures. When this gets out, you'll be lucky to get a job selling trinkets on the street." He went pale. I leaned in a little closer. "Oh, and by the way, she was never really yours. You were just the match she used to set her own world on fire." Then I got up, walked out of that diner, and never, ever looked back. Flash forward 6 months. Last I heard, she's crashing at her sister's place. Jason? Well, he's no longer a licensed real estate agent. Again. And the word on the street is they've cut all ties. Shocker! People look at me now and wonder how I can be so chill about it all. They expect to see a guy simmering with resentment, eaten up by rage. But here's the thing they just don't get. Real revenge isn't fueled by hot-headed anger. It's crafted in the cold, quiet clarity of thought. A clarity that washed over me the instant she said he meant more to her. And you know what? In a twisted way, she was right. He was more to her, but to me, he was just leverage.